resilient?
Emotional struggles or mental health, however you want to coin the term, emotional resilience.
What do you mean realistically?
So what I mean is that you become more resilient to processes which might actually come and which we might actually hit an impact upon us emotionally, and we are kind of struggle and don't get through it. How we kind of get through those challenges? How do we actually get through our emotional struggles? How do
Okay.
we receive information? That kind of thing. And for me, often it is presented through a lot of systems that it's all down to us. However we receive it is down to us. If we receive it positively, that's down to us. If we receive it negatively, it's down to us. It's about self-determinism. However, from my personal stance, is if you just go into something and just say it's all about positive mindset, you are actually omitting 50% of yourself. Because as human beings, we are positive and negative. We've got
All right.
50% both. And so to do that, it's almost like ignoring the issue rather than tackling it face on. And if you don't tackle it face on, it will just keep on reoccurring to try and attack you again until you actually deal with it. So,
Okay.
so therefore, things like external systems, where people always say, "Oh, it's all about yourself," so don't ignore the external system. They very much matter,
Okay. That sounds really interesting.
right? So what I mean is things like structured. Like for example, you might have. We are living in a pandemic right now. Yeah.
Correct.
So the fact that there's a pandemic has affects the way we work.
Yeah.
There is nothing we can do about that. That's not our own fault. That's down to the pandemic and to the
Absolutely
change
right.
of the system imposed upon us. So for you to kind of just say, "Oh, well, it's all down to me," that doesn't even make sense.
That sounds really interesting. I find that very interesting in the
Yeah,
sense that seeing it from your perspective that what is happening at the moment is not our own fault.
no,
You know, nobody waited for such things to happen, but it just happened. And the way we be carrying on, dealing with it, I think it's very interesting to understand that the way you look at it is from a system view, you know, to be able to kind of overcome the challenges during this season, you
yeah,
know. And I find
yeah.
that very interesting.
Okay, because for me, I'm not saying you as an individual mustn't put the work in to try and combat things for yourself. But what I am saying also is that if you don't see the reality of the system,
Okay.
and always come and impose itself on you and actually trip you up.
And what
Right.
is the reality of the system?
It's knowing that the system is there and it can affect you and all the bigger structures, all the bigger things. If you can see the whole thing, you can make a more informed choice rather than a little choice based on the fact that everything is down to you.
I really find that very interesting. Um, so how do you use your system to overcome such situations that this system have imposed on you in structure wise?
But
How do you overcome that and move yourself forward?
for me,
Mhm.
you have to own that anything what happened to you is you. So if you are all the negatives is you, all the positives is you, they're all you. And if you
Yeah.
can know everything is you, then you are starting from a point of a more realistic point where you can
Okay.
actually see a bigger picture, which gives you a more informed choice.
Yeah.
When you do make a decision, when you do bring it that back down to your individual self, then you do make a more informed choice. It's like things like for example, when they say how you like something emotional is how you receive it. Yeah, it's how you receive it. You can control that. Well, can you really control your emotions? What you can do is slow your breathing down, give
Okay.
yourself think, and become rational. But that initial thing of the emotion, can you really control it? So are we really just buying into language with other people or systems with other people are embedded upon us, which actually doesn't really make sense?
How do you go about tricking your mind? How do you overcome
No, I
such
see, I see you
cravings?
don't. I'm
When
going
your
by
brain is craving, for example, when your brain is craving for some ice cream, for you to have an ice cream. So how do you trick your mind to be able to overcome some such temptation? How do you go about doing that?
right. And I would say to you, you don't trick your mind at all. I'm telling you, these are the kind of teachings which have been put upon us through these systems.
Through the systems.
These systems will tell you things like trick your mind. And I would say my logical mind cannot be tricked. However, I would argue that you cannot trick your mind into believing that in the first place because it knows the reality that I'm not that thing.
So what you're saying in effect is that you believe in reality,
I believe in reality.
correct? And in
Correct.
believing in reality, that means you knowing your reality and also knowing your possibilities and
Correct.
knowing what you could do to
Right.
change the narrative, correct?
Yes, yes. I know my no reality, know my possibility. I can make a choice based from that. How can I put these realities together to move forward?
That whatsoever the situation is in life, is you accepting your reality. And when you are able to accept your reality, you are able to reflect on what went wrong and able to use the lessons you reflect on and see the possibilities that you could action to change the narrative. Because the reality is asking yourself important questions like, what is really going on now?
Mm-hmm.
What is the situation? You know, you want to use your reality and generate ways how you could effect change with your reality. You don't want to kind of have set illusion without no action. How proactive are you with your reality to help you to change the narrative, correct?
Right.
How do you kind of change the situation to confirmation? How do you
Right.
change your reality to confirmation?
Right. And this is what I'm going to say. Because we all use confirmation bias. And the way I know to confirm that I can do something, the way I know, how do I know that I could use to play football? Well, by kicking the football.
By kicking
I
the
had to
football.
actually do it.
By doing it, yes.
Frightened, but now you've actually got the emotional skills to move forward.
What is emotional skills to you?
Well, it's how you actually don't make your emotions take you over, govern what you do in the. So what I'm saying, like again, we might be fearful. Once you slow your brain down,
okay,
you can start making rational decisions. Or if you keep on trying something, if you've tried to ride a bicycle and you fall off 10 times, then you cycle on the 11th time, you've now got over that emotion of I can't cycle this bike.
I can't cycle bike. Yeah. That's really interesting. I like the way you put it, how you can kind of regain your confidence when you find yourself in some critical situations, how you are able to go ahead and just do something. By doing, you learn by doing, and you're able to develop your confidence again and move forward.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
That requires a lot of willpower feat for you to have a strategy or a system in place so that you are able to do something differently that will kind of move you from one place to a different level, correct?
That's correct.
Very interesting question. So you, Kev, how do you use your willpower feat to perform and also to kind of move yourself forward with all these obstructing systems in place?
Right.
That is not really favorable to you as an individual.
But for me as an individual,
yeah,
because of some of the things which I read or some of the things which I discuss or whatever, whether it might be towing the line of what people might call conspiracies or not, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, let me say that. Okay. However, it might be whatever. What the way I govern my life is that there is nothing on this planet that surprises me.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
That sounds good.
But not blaming yourself on things which you can do nothing about systems, about this, about that. There's a lot of systems which we've got around us, which they are there. If you see the reality of the system for what it is, it puts you in a better place because my thing is that, like I said, nothing surprises me. So if I looked at worst case scenario, if everything is better than worst case scenario, I'm all right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kev, on that. I think that brings me back to when dealing with clients with some kind of pressing situations, how I kind of use my strategy, which is willpower fit, to help them to overcome their challenges and succeed in different areas where they are having challenges. It could be limiting beliefs, it could be leadership challenges, how I'm able to kind of motivate them so that they are able to be committed and discipline themselves so that they are able to move themselves forward and succeed through the motivation of their willpower faith. That is very kind of really interesting, able to help them to focus on a particular strategy and focus on a particular situation so that they are able to come out and discover their possibilities, how to use their awareness of their reality to move themselves forward and become successful regarding that situation. I think I find that very interesting, the way you said it,
And I'm asking you, do you believe limiting beliefs is really down to us being limited in our mind, or is it other thing that could, or is it other thing? Is it really down to just us and changing our mindset?
I think limiting belief is a way where you are is the kind of things you do without you not really knowing you are doing them. What you do unconsciously, like decisions you make, you have this inner thing that kind of triggered that limiting beliefs. For example, when you are dealing with a friend and your friend is trying to push you to do something, and without you not knowing, you are saying, "Man, I'm not doing that." And I think this is due to your value systems that is already in you, that is preconditioned either by your parents or either by your mentor or either by this community where you grow up in, and you see them coming to play without you not realizing that this is your belief system that is in play. And for you to overcome your limitations, you need to practice. You need to practice, and from practicing, you will improve yourself in any limitations that you are going through. Because it's only through practicing
right.
that you're able to move forward and overcome your limitations if you really want to do better. Yeah.
And there were some boys in my year who I was much quicker than them.
Yeah.
They went off, did athletics, said that they were going to come out to be sprinters, did all the training, did all the thing, did all the
Yeah.
At 16, I'm still much quicker than them because my biology just dictated that they couldn't beat me in a race. It didn't matter what they did.
I think because you are talented on that particular sport and you have passion for it, and naturally you push yourself because you are just good on that sport. And no matter how they practice, they can never become perfect on that sport because they are not talented on it. They can only improve themselves because it's always a work in progress. You see, this brings us back to the question of what are your realities? What are your realities? What is the situation? What is really going on? And with this, I think you are able to kind of come to a point where you need to make some analysis and also motivation, how to motivate yourself and accept the reality, and also what you need to put in place so that you are able to help the reality, so that you're able to change the narrative of the reality, maybe to overcome the the challenges you are facing at the moment, or your limitations. You know, let's use the limitation, for example, your limitations of writing. You know that you are not good in writing, correct? And you want to write a piece of work.
But not my strongest point, yes.
Yes, you want to write a piece of work. And for you to write a piece of work, I think you need to ask yourself, what do you want to achieve from this piece of work that you are about to write? What do you really want to achieve? And what is this piece of work all about? What is the purpose of this piece of work you are writing, that you want to write? What is the purpose? You know, and who are your targets of this piece of work you want to write? You know, and what is the benefits of the people you are targeting with this piece of work? You know, and when you are able to answer these powerful questions, then you're able to put your head down and be committed to it and start jotting down, answering these questions. And when you answer these questions, then you will realize that for every writer, it's all about what is the purpose, who are the targets, what is your aim, what is the objectives of this piece of work, and what are the benefits of this piece of work to your targets, and what do you want to achieve after finishing writing this piece of work, and what is the importance of this piece of work to the people you are targeting and also to you. And when you are able to answer these questions, you will realize that it's not about you being the best writer. It's all about achieving your purpose and achieving your aim with this piece of work. And when you are able to achieve your aims and your objectives, and you are able to satisfy and give solutions to the objectives and to the people, to the categories that you are trying to provide solution for, to you, you have done your best. For you is good enough for you. You know, it's not about you being the best writer or competing with other writers. I think it's just about satisfying the purpose of that piece of work that you are putting across. And when you are able to satisfy that, you have satisfaction. You know, it's not about pushing yourself that you are better than this person or you are the best in this field. I think it's just about moving forward and achieving a purpose.
You can do the best you can, which I think the majority of us do, and we all want to be good at anything we do.
Life itself is a system. Everything in life is a system. The way the components, the organs in your body function together, it's a system.
It's a system, right?
And one thing cannot miss out of that system. You know, nothing have to miss in that system, because the system needs to be complete for the system to function properly. You know, however, when it comes down to achieving a particular goal, if you, for example, you want to write an article, right? Writing an article is your main goal.
Yes.
And what do you want to achieve from writing that particular article? Your message, the purpose for writing that article, you know, and your aim and your targets, you know. And after finishing writing that article, if you want somebody to kind of proofread it, you know, it's all right. There's nothing bad about that. It's all right, because nobody is a master of all.
That's all I'm saying. Literally.
Everyone needs some kind of support,
right?
In whatever way the support is coming in, so long a more value is added to what you are doing. It's all right, because at the end of the day, a tree cannot make a forest. Because as a human being, our life is a component of systems. That's how our body functions, our life functions, the way it functions. So life itself is a system.
Indeed.
But you need to focus on whatever you want to achieve regarding a particular thing. and where you are able to focus. I mean, putting your being light on that particular thing, and when you want to achieve that particular thing matters a lot and makes a lot of difference, because it enables you to achieve clarity about what you are pursuing. It enables you to learn a lot of lessons about what you are pursuing. It's not about trying and failing. It's about trying and learning lessons about what you are trying to achieve, and able to improve it and able to get to the finish point so that you're able to achieve that particular goal. I think that is the main important thing, which brings us to happiness. Because at the end of the day, happiness is what happiness means to you. Happiness means a different thing to another person. And in in life, happiness have a different meaning at a particular time and at a particular with a particular situation. Indeed. You know, if you want to sleep, for example, you want to have a siesta for 2 hours, and you're able to achieve that, you wake up, you are happy. That's happiness. Right. Before you achieve anything in life, there has to be a process. There has to be a strategy. Right. And when you are able to keep that process, you can only use that process to achieve the same thing over and over again. Then automatically that process becomes part of you without you not knowing. Right. That brings us back to preconditioned values. That brings us back to beliefs. My belief is that you don't need to worry too much about things you have not got power over or you have not got control over, you know, because I see it as a kind of a waste of energy, which you can refocus on things that will benefit you, you know, because there are things that you don't really have power over.
That's correct. I agree with you.
And there are things that you have power over, like that's your actions, your proactiveness, you know, things you can do to change your narrative, things you could do to give you happiness, things you could do to help to solve problems that are kind of disrupting or distracting you from moving forward, helping your relationship to move forward, you know. So there are a lot of things that you can focus your energy on. When you channel your energy on things that you don't really have power over, when you are seeking evaluation, that is the biggest challenge, you know, and which brings us back to your point you made earlier on about going out and just doing it, because you have experience, you have instincts, and you have been conditioned. You have achieved a lot. You got confidence. You know what you are capable of. You know your abilities. You know, I think the motivation to use your willpower fit to make things to happen, that is the reality. The most important thing is that it's choices you make, decisions you make. What do you want to focus your energy on? You see, we are still coming back again to focus.
Yeah.
What do you want to focus your energy on? Do you want to focus your energy on things that will make you depressed? Do you want to focus your energy on things that will move you forward, or that will give you joy, that will give you happiness? It's like you have two friends, for example. You have two friends. One of the friends is always putting you down, telling you shit about yourself all the time. Sorry for my language. You know?
No, that's okay.
Is telling you all sort of negativity things to make you feel bad about yourself. And the second friend is only telling you, come on, it's not the end of the world. You could be better. Why don't you try it this way? You know, giving you hope, giving you that motivation to carry on, you know, putting you always in a better place, making you feel good about yourself. Now the choice now lies with you. What do you want in your life? Do you always want to be in that place where you are always being put down, or do you want to be in that place where there is hope?
I agree.
To move forward.
I agree.
So it comes to decision, it comes back to decision making and choice making in life.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And again, I go back to the fact that we a lot of our decision making is predisposed to the fact that we are all products of the bigger system. And so
yeah,
a lot of,
I agree with you. We are a product of bigger system. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of our, so even though we still talk about our value system is often based on somebody else's value system which they've embedded in us, and then we believe it's our own system.
You see, we are part of a bigger system. Agreed. Yes. But your choices makes a lot of difference.
No, it does, but what
in the bigger system, in somebody's life, the decisions you make makes a lot of impact.
Yes.
So it comes back to you. What are the choices?
And I'm saying it does come back to you, but yeah. I also believe that those choices are sometimes come back to us, but sometimes go back to things which have been embedded in us from centuries, from whatever which have been just passed down the generation.
Yeah.
For example, and I'm not religious myself.
Yeah.
But my mum is Christian, which have been passed down from her, which have been passed down.
Yeah, yeah.
Christian, she will try to embed certain things in me. I'm not Christian myself. However, I recognize there's some of her values which comes out in me, which I've now held true as my values because of Christian upbringing and indoctrination, which has been passed down the thing. And all I'm saying is, if I can recognize that somebody who got put onto a slave ship and got in Christianity embedded in them, and then they past what is embedded in them from the slave ship and come down to me, I have now seen a bigger system, which I can now say, okay, then this makes sense. Now, how do I proceed? Because I've got a bigger picture, rather than just saying, okay, then I'm going to challenge that without knowing that, without not seeing that the whole of the system have now been filtered down for you to behave in that way, or for you to think like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. You know, you see, most of us have been preconditioned even before you were born. Any society, any community you are born into, automatically you are signatory.
Right.
To whatever is going on there, to whatever tradition, culture that is going on there. However, it gets to a point in a man's life where you become the master of your life, where you start taking responsibilities on every decision you make in your life.
Right. And what I'm going to argue, because I hear that argument and it sounds nice.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. And I'm saying, are you really the master of your own life? What system are you basing that master of your own life on? Because what I'm hearing again, right, and this is why I mentioned it, I hear it in life coaching, I hear it in NLP, I hear it in law of attraction more so. Everything what you've just said, I hear all of that in those systems. So are you following those systems, or are you following you?
I'm following me.
Are you sure?
Master of my life. I do what I want to do.
I believe you. I believe you. I'm just asking the question, Will. I believe you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm following me because I have my own value system.
Okay.
I have my own value system. I make decisions based on my value systems.
Yes.
I make decisions based on facts that I know. I make decisions based on experiences that I've had in the past.
Okay.
I make decisions based on what I feel that is possible after analysis.
Good. I like that.
After analyzing and thinking before I make decisions. I would say that every decision I make is always right. At times I make decisions and it goes the other way. What about it? After all, I was the one that made that decision. And if it didn't work out in my favor, I accept it. Okay, it's one of those experiences. You know, I've learned from my mistakes. So next time, when I'm about to make the same decision in the same situation, I know what I made before that went wrong. So I not reflect, I make another decision again.
Right.
based on that experience.
Right. And I agree with you. And I love that. I do love that.
Yeah.
You know, again, it wasn't a case of I will challenging you because I do trust what you're saying. It's a case of, I think sometimes when we, again, I might say certain things and I still will always have to address myself and challenge myself.
Yeah.
It's about challenging myself to kind of understand where I sit in this world better to make a decision best for me in that moment.
I just say it at that moment.
And it's the same for you. And this is why, again, I challenge a lot of these systems, because I hear a lot of things said and I hear a lot of contradictions. Like again, I hear for myself, I hear a lot of people talking about manifesting stuff, which is where I started off with the confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about manifesting stuff. What tends to happen is, if manifestation does work, if it does work, I'm not saying it does, it worked about, I was seeing a statistic from a law of attraction specialist that it happened about 0.1% of the time. So that means 99.9% of the time it doesn't work. However, through confirmation bias, what we have told our mind is, I am trying to manifest this thing. Little steps will make it thing. That sign is showing me that that is happening. Well, that sign, well, is it really that you're manifesting it, or is it just that it was going to happen anyway because you put in the work?
You see, manifestation, the way I look at it, I think it's common sense. I look at it that what is to be will be. And it all comes down to you. What are you doing? What are your plans? And how are you actioning your plans? Do you have a vision? Are you ambition? Are you working on your plans? Are you working on your vision? Are you working on your dreams? I think that is where I see affirmation or confirmation come into play, where you go into actioning your dreams, actioning your plans.
I think you have to action everything. I do think
you have to action everything.
I think you're 100%.
That is where the confirmation comes in. You don't just sit down across your hands and be wishing to be rich, wishing to pay your house bill, where you are not doing anything about it. There's no reality.
There is no reality. Exactly.
The reality is that you get your hand dirty, and do something to bring in money to pay your bills. That's the reality. That's
reality. So now, what I'm going to say is that manifestation, or is that just basic common sense in business?
It's common sense. It's the way I look at it.
Right. And
it's common sense.
Right. Again,
because it's common sense, and using your experiences and using your willpower using your willpower fit to motivate yourself to succeed. And for you to succeed, you need to action your plans. You need to have a plan. Is it that you plan to succeed or you plan to fail? When you have a plan on anything you want to achieve, go ahead and action it before success will follow. Because it doesn't just come like that on bed of roses. No.
I agree.
No efforts, no results. No pains, no gains.
I agree. And this is what I mean. Will, we're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
We are on the same page.
We're on the same page. Okay, there, Kev. It's been nice being here, good to have this fantastic discussion with you. And what will you say you have achieved from this session so far?
Thus far, what have I achieved? I have achieved knowing that, or believing that, the idea of look at the bigger system and working from what I see as a reality is the place to be, and not from a system which is imposed or fluffy language or whatever it is, because I just find all of that kind of thing. It's just another system of deception. I find them another systems of deception, and I think that's what we are working in. The majority of us are just working in systems of deception, which sounds great, but they're a bit flowery, and yeah. And so I think if we start looking at reality, and you know, again, everybody's reality is about perception, but I think truths are truths. You can't change the truth.
You can't change the truth.
You can't change the truth. And I think oftentimes people are trying to kind of compartmentalize and not work with the truth, which is why their reality is not happening in the way where they want it to happen.
I love the way you put it, working with the truth. I love the way you put it, because it's when you accept your reality, that is when you are able to learn, and you're able to use your lessons to change the narrative and become real. I love the way you put it. Kev, that is fantastic. It's great being here again.